See if we can get this guy to commit. Yep, there it committed. There it committed. And it's good, I think. It's a good fish. Oh, it'll be the fish we're looking for. Oh, I can feel it grinding on teeth. Oh, it's got a big old tail on it. Oh, don't watch the net job. Oh, that's big. Oh, that's big. Well, welcome back. Today we are doing one thing and one thing only, and that is targeting big walleyes. You know, it's something that I don't get to do enough because, as you can imagine, it'd be kind of a swing big, miss big pattern. And if I'm gonna be taking time away from my family, I don't want to go out and not get a video. But today is that day. We're gonna swing for the fences here. And basically, I'm just going to fish and talk through a bunch of tips and tricks, just some big fish patterns, some locations, some presentations, because when you're targeting big fish versus going out and catching eaters, there's some things that you do differently. So I'll talk through some of those. I'm gonna hop on the trolling motor. I'm gonna go target some big walleyes. So as we're kind of rolling up to the first area that we're gonna be trying, I'm gonna talk through a little bit of general location stuff, some of the things that I'm gonna be trying today. And you know, one of the big things when you're targeting big walleyes, you know, especially once it gets into some summertime patterns, there's two primary areas where I see most of the big walleyes. Obviously, they can be a lot of other areas too. But you know, a couple of the big areas are, one is getting into the weeds. It can be a little tricky because it takes a little time to be able to comb through the weeds, but if you can get into the weeds and kind of nose around in some of that little bit more sparse cabbagey type stuff, that can be a very effective way to find some of the bigger fish. So that is one thing that I will do, find the weeds, find some good green cabbage, coontail, some of that kind of stuff where they really can just mill around and go chase bait fish, get some shade. The other thing that I do a lot of, and you've probably heard a lot of people doing it, is just kind of finding stuff a little bit off structure that could be a little bit further off structure, more of a suspended pattern. But a lot of times it can be a break line, it can be a point, it can be a hump. You know, these fish will be around those, but they'll just be off the structure a little bit and they'll be kind of suspending. So obviously it's a big time forward facing sonar pattern. So if you don't have that, it's gonna be a lot more challenging. But definitely two patterns that I see finding big walleyes in a lot are in the weeds and finding some stuff, not even super suspended, but just kind of hanging out on or a little bit off structure. Stopped. It's looking. It's looking, it's coming up. Come on. Oh, shoot. That's the big one we're looking for. That one is definitely the one we are looking for. See if we can get him with a little reaction bait. Oh, there was something. This one feels more bassy, I think. I don't think it's what we're looking for. Yeah, bassy, dang it. Got intercepted by that school of bass. Going for that bigger one. That's that bigger walleye. Shoot. Not what we are looking for. Before we get too far into this as well, one thing I've been meaning to do is I'm genuinely curious, you know, where people are from that watch my videos. So if you could do me a solid and drop a comment, where are you from? Where are you watching from? One, it helps me get a better idea of how to structure my videos, things to talk about. But two, also just genuinely curious how many people are watching the videos and where you guys are from. Following. There you bit. There you bit. I don't think it's big though. It's a bass. Bass. He's trying to eat it. There, he's got it. There, he's got it. We have a freaking sucker. Goodness sakes. There, we got a big fish. Which direction is he moving? Let's see if we can't get down to him. See if he's interested. Following. Started following. Come on. Very bit. Very bit. Oh, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Just off this brake line here. Not a giant, but it's decent. Not exactly what we're looking for. Don't get me wrong, it's a great fish, but not the size structure we're looking for. We are at 23, 24, something like that. Before we get to some of the tips, I'm going to talk through my setup here. If you've been paying attention to the Walleye world, you know Jig Crawler has been catching a ton of fish, and that's what we're doing today. And so that is a tip that I was going to give you, is use a Jig Crawler. When all else fails, use a Jig Crawler. Make sure whatever hook you're using, make sure it has a strong hook. This is the Smeltinator by Norfin. This thing is awesome. This has probably caught a good percentage of my biggest walleyes. This one is an 1/8 ounce. That seems to be about the perfect, if you get it on not a super windy day, seems to be the perfect kind of weight to just let that crawler just dangle in front of their face. You can work it at about the right speed. And then I do that on a 6 or an 8 pound fluorocarbon leader. I will sometimes downsize my leader a little bit for these big fish because they can be so finicky. And I do like a longer leader. You know, this one's probably about 4 or 5 feet. Sometimes I'll go even 6, 7 feet. And I do that for a couple of reasons. One, obviously there's less line that's visible to these big walleyes. But two, that provides a little bit of stretch. You know, I typically run a braided main line, and so there's not stretch in that. So having that a little bit longer leader gives a little bit extra stretch for some of these big fish to be able to kind of fight when they have those head shakes, especially right by the boat. So being able to have a little bit longer leader is nice. I do run an 8 pound braid a lot of times. Sometimes I go up to 10, but 8, especially when you're casting these lighter jigs. Something that goes through the line. This one is Suffix 832 Advanced. I like this. Honestly, probably my favorite is Daiwa J braid, or new one I've been trying is the Daiwa X braid, I think it is. So castable. I like that even more than the 832 Advanced, although this one is very good as well. This is on, it's a 610 medium light, extra fast. Honestly, my favorite rod for doing this is the Elliott rod that I had. It was a 7.3 medium light. Love that rod, but unfortunately last year I got caught in one of my little hooks on my rod locker, and the line pulled it and it snapped the tip. So I don't have that one, but this one works very well. This is the Identity series. It's technically their jigs and plastics rod, but also works very good for a Jig Crawler rod. That is on the Piscifun Illumix. Honestly, as of right now, if I had to choose my absolute favorite Piscifun reel, this Illumix is very nice, but that Carbon X2 2000 is my favorite. This is the 2000 size reel. So that's the setup that caught that one. And kind of the setup that I typically use for Jig and Crawler. I've never been locked into like one specific rod reel. You know, I get something, but I'm always experimenting with different things to try to find something that works better, or something that works a little different. And so this is kind of where I've been at for this one. But yeah, so far been a very good setup. That'll kind of lead right to our next tip, and that is not to waste a cast. Meaning, if you get a cast that you think is kind of close, but it's maybe not exactly what you're looking for, might not come across the fish perfectly, reel up real fast. Because sometimes what will happen is that jig will follow kind of close to that fish, and they'll be kind of interested, but it's not going to give you the presentation that you're looking for exactly. And so that'll kind of ruin that chance at that fish. It's not good enough to where it's going to bite, but it'll still at least get his interest up, and it'll kind of follow it back to the boat. So don't waste a cast. Make sure that the one that you're going to work that fish through is going the right direction, the right distance, all those kinds of things. Take the extra time to kind of pinpoint those casts. So here's an example. I'm talking about not wasting a cast. I mean, you can see right up here, there's a group of fish. It could be bass, but it kind of looks like a pot of walleyes just right off the weed edge. But as you look around, doesn't look like anything too big. And so since there's nothing super big, I'm not even going to cast at those, even though yes, it'd be fun to catch. But if you want to optimize your time targeting these bigs, you want every minute that you can casting at bigger fish. And obviously, I'm not going to say I do that perfect all the time. Sometimes you just want to go get bit, whether it's a bass or whatever. When you've been fishing for multiple hours without a bite, just go get bit. But you know, if you're wanting to optimize your time, you can spend a lot of time chasing after eater-sized walleyes. And so you want to just be able to spend as much time as possible with your bait in front of the right fish. And obviously another thing is to find the right lakes that have big fish. If you've been familiar with the Onyx app, that is a great way to scout new lakes, to find lakes that have large fish. And so whether it's that, whether it's using the fisheries data that on the Minnesota Lake Finder, whatever it is, utilize some of those tools to identify lakes that have big fish, or even just talking to people, sometimes word of mouth. There's a lot of lakes that I've fished that have some big walleyes that aren't necessarily on the onX app. So being able to obviously identify lakes that have big fish is gonna be a big tip as well. Another tip is kind of depending on the day, is you're gonna have to determine the bite. If you watch any of my buddy Brett McComas's Target Walleye, any of his last videos, he's talked about a little bit, and determine if it's an up bite or a down bite. You know, are these fish wanting to chase down, almost like a Ned rig style, or even chase a crawler, or are they wanting to chase up? And sometimes that'll change throughout the day, sometimes that'll change throughout the hour, but identifying kind of what mood these fish are in, if they're wanting an up bite or a down bite. Don't get so locked into it. I find myself, I get locked into an up bite. That's what I like to do. I like to have these fish chase up, you know, just like when you're ice fishing with the Vexlar, you want them to chase up. And so determine what kind of bite it is. And also, if you're getting denied by a couple of fish, try a little bit of everything. Or if it follows a little bit for an up bite, then drop it down. See if it'll chase down, if that's what it's looking for. You know, if you followed any of Tom Wynn's stuff, he lets it fall to bottom a lot. And obviously he's caught more big walleyes than most of us. So that's a guy that I really have a lot of respect for, and he knows what he's doing. So determine the bite and work your baits accordingly. Come on. See if we can get this guy to commit. See if we can get this guy to commit. Or this girl, I should say. Yep, there it committed. There it committed. And it's good, I think. It's a good fish. Oh, it'll be the fish we're looking for. Oh, I can feel it grinding on teeth. This is a good fish. Oh, this is a good fish. I don't know if it's 30 that big, but oh, it's still good. Oh, come on. Get this thing in. Oh, it's got a big old tail on it. Oh, don't watch the net drop. Oh, that's big. Oh, that's big. Yes, 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 yes. That is what we were here for. Also, I'm shaking right now doing a fish donkey tournament with Target Walleye. So I'm gonna get some measurements, make sure I'm measuring it correctly, and we'll get it shown to you guys. Wow, look at that thing. Oh baby, this is a real one right here. Look at the mouth on that thing. This is a real one right here. Oh baby, oh baby. That is a huge fish. I'm gonna, I got the bump board right here. Just got it out of the water. Oh, let's see. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Oh, we have, let's see, touching 30. I don't think I can get 31 1/4. Oh my gosh. All right, got some measurements. I'm gonna show this brute off. Wow, gonna release it here for healthier release. There she goes. Well, I am still like shaking. That was a giant fish. So much fun. I don't know if I mentioned how big it was yet. It was 30.75 versus for the Fish Donkey app. When I was able to pinch the tail, it did get to 31, a little over, but mouth closed up against the bump board, 30.75, 31. Just an absolute giant. I mean, obviously with forward facing sonar, those fish are coming around more often, but still they do not come around often enough. Well, that was awesome. That was a giant fish. I did fish for a little while longer and just didn't really catch anything big. You know, I caught a couple more, but nothing really worthwhile showing after seeing that giant. But I did want to end with my last tip, give a couple shout outs and give a little update. So my last tip is to make sure you have your release tools ready, bump board, pliers, all that good stuff, so you can get these fish in and out of the water very quickly. Make sure you have a nice deep net so you can keep these fish in the water instead of plop them in on the ground of your boat. All those things just help to get that fish in and out very quickly and increase its chance of survival. The next thing I want to do is I want to give a little update. I told you I was in that Target Walleye tournament. As of right now, I am currently in the lead. Things may have changed, so if they've changed, either way, I'll just put a most current screenshot that I have after I get done editing this video to see if I'm still in the lead. But as of right now, I am. So that is awesome. If you're interested in joining, there's still time. There's going to be there's going to be this month, June, July, and August. So it's all summer long. It's been fun so far. It's nice you can just do it whenever it's convenient for you, not setting aside a few days or a week or whatever it is, just whenever works throughout the summer. The last thing I want to do is I want to give a couple shout outs. I haven't done this for a little while. I typically like to do this just to give shout outs to guys that are, being super supportive, commenting, sharing, liking, all that good stuff, because that stuff means more than you know. And so a couple guys that I want to give a shout out to is one, Troy Horniman. He is a local guy, actually used to run the Walleye League that I was a part of. Just an awesome dude. He's always sharing, supporting, commenting, all that good stuff. And the last one, maybe I mentioned him before, but if I have, he deserves it again, is Justin Mooney. You've seen him in pretty much all of my videos. He's commenting, he's sharing, he's doing all those things. And also a lot of other people's videos as well. Just a super awesome dude, always brings the energy. So all that to say, this was awesome. I love catching giant walleyes. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.